Hey there, this is Dennis Anyone with Dennis Hensley. It's a podcast about making things up and making things happen. I love talking to creative people, and today I have 4 guests for the price of 1. This is my Happy New Year in Palm Springs edition featuring You Don't Know My Life. So, 4 friends of mine who have all been on the podcast before, who lived in LA but now live in Palm Springs, are joining me on Zoom to play a few rounds of You Don't Know My Life with a kind of New Year's Palm Springs theme to it. And the people joining me are the author Byron Lane, whose books are A Star Is Born and Big Gay Wedding. We also have Terry Ray, who is an actor and a producer and a writer. And he has a theater company that he's co-founded out in Palm Springs called The Bent. Relatively new, but they are kicking ass. We also have my friend Jack Kenny, who is a writer and showrunner of TV shows like Warehouse 13 and The Book of Daniel, who just moved to Palm Springs. So this is kind of like his coming out party podcast, introducing him to other people out there. And finally, we have Craig Chester, the actor and writer. He was on not long ago, and he was in the movie Adam and Steve, and he's working on a sequel, and I think he just finished the screenplay of it. So excited to bring all of these people together. But before we get to the game, I want to remind you that this podcast, Dennis Anyone, is brought to you by Irish Spring Soap. No, it's not. I don't have any sponsors. I do it because I love it, and I love it more than ever. I'm so into it. So there are 2 ways you can support the podcast, though. If you enjoy it, you can go to DennisAnyone.net and leave a tip in my virtual tip jar. And I want to give a shout out to Valerie B, who left a tip recently. And it's funny. There's on PayPal. There's you can see the message, and it says, "Thanks to Dennis and his wondrous something." It doesn't. I'm not able to technically see the whole message. Something to do with my app or my phone. Anyway, so something's wondrous, Valerie. So thank you for writing that. Hopefully, it's wondrous guess. Maybe it's my wondrous sex appeal. Maybe it's that. I don't know. But thank you so much, Valerie, for supporting the podcast. It means so much to me that people connect with it. The other thing you can do is you can go and become a subscriber to DNR Studios. I'm part of a group of shows under the Derek and Romaine banner, and for a monthly fee, you get my show early, and you get all these other great LGBTQ shows. So go to DNR Studios to learn about that. And now, let's get on with the episode. This is a game of You Don't Know My Life, featuring Byron Lane, Terry Ray, Jack Kenny, and Craig Chester. It's our Palm Springs New Year's edition. All right, joining me from Palm Springs are 4 of my favorite friends. They're all very creative, always up to cool things. We've got Byron Lane, novelist, actor, playwright. We've got Terry Ray, actor, and now co-founder of a theater company called The Bent in Palm Springs. We've got actor, screenwriter Craig Chester, and we've got my favorite writer friend, Jack Kenny, who just moved to Palm Springs. So this is sort of like Jack's intro into Palm Springs culture, disguised as a podcast, disguised as a New Year's celebration. So welcome, everybody.
Yay, thanks for having us.
Hey, Dennis. Good to be here.
My secret ulterior motive for this podcast is if I just can't cut it here anymore in LA and I move out there, I'm just looking for tips. Is that worth it? What have you observed generally about leaving Los Angeles and moving to the desert? We'll start with you, Terry.
It's so much easier.
Is it?
When I lived in LA, I loved LA. I didn't think I didn't like LA.
Right.
And then I just made all of a sudden this gigantic exhale, went, oh my God, I can relax, which I didn't know I was holding all this tension.
Interesting.
And now when I go back to LA, I'm going to go see people. And then I get there and I'm like, oh God, I can't wait to get back out again. It's weird because I never disliked LA, but it's just so easy and nice here. I love it.
Interesting. Byron, what have you observed since you and your husband, Stephen, moved to the desert?
Yeah, easy is the key word here. There's parking at the grocery store. There's no line at the DMV. And my biggest concern leaving LA was, am I still going to see my friends? But the truth is, out in LA, to have dinner with a friend, it was 40 minutes to drive to a restaurant that's just a few miles away, 40 minutes to drive home. And here, I realize friends are coming through Palm Springs all the time. So friends are staying with us for the weekend, and then you have this deep quality time. And so I actually kind of feel like I see my friends more than I did in LA. Sometimes too much.
Yeah.
Sometimes I stop coming so often.
It's like, oh, do we have anybody here this weekend? No. Good. Nobody's here. So,
relief.
Jack, you've been out there a month or so. What are you thinking about it? How is it going?
Well, so far I agree with everything Byron and Terry have just said. It is so much easier. You can park by the door almost anywhere you go. I moved to LA 32 years ago, and I was chicken, and I'm chicken again, which is kind of
Yes!
exciting. You know,
Yes.
here in Palm Springs,
Exactly.
I'm the in Studio City, I was the oldest guy in the restaurant. Here I'm the youngest.
Mm.
The trouble is the restaurant closes at 8:30, but that's okay. I can still make it work. But I do love. I just so far I'm loving everything about it. I'm loving it's easy to get everywhere, like Byron was saying. It's just, you know, and I have a lot of friends in LA, but they are going to come out here, and soon Dennis will be out here apparently dancing for tips. So I'm going to save my single.
Well, if you're chicken, I'm chicken.
Oh, if I'm chicken, you're in the egg, baby.
So, Craig Chester, you've been out in the desert for a while, and I just saw that you finished a draft of a screenplay. So tell me about that.
I did. I just finished the sequel to Adam and Steve. It's called Adam and Steve 55 Plus. And it's me and Malcolm Getz, and picking up with our characters now at this age, at 55 plus, and it takes place in Palm Springs.
And it takes place in, like, what are the settings? Are there any of our favorite restaurants? Are there any, like...
There's 849.
Sure.
There is the Christmas parade. There's a crazy tap dancing routine.
Which you tap danced in the parade.
I did. I mean, it was, I did tap dance. I mean, it was more like tap running because the truck ahead of us was going too fast with the music. And so we were like tapping and running at the same time. It was a lot of exercise.
It was a lot of exercise. So you were like, thought it would be like this, I'm going to do my little routine, and then it ends up being like you're running for your lives.
We were just chasing the car the whole time. Yeah.
Yes.
For 2 miles. Yeah. But it was amazing. So that's what I just finished it like a few days ago, and we're doing a reading of it January 9th out here in Palm Springs.
How does Palm Springs work with your creativity? Do you feel creative out there? Are you able to be disciplined about writing? Like, what's it like out there for you as a writer?
Well, when I lived in Los Angeles, I would come out here because when I would get writer's block, I would drive out to Palm Springs. I would stay at this place called Hope Springs in Desert Hot Springs, this little like hotel with no TVs. And this is where I would come when I had writer's block. I would come to the desert, and someone said the ions and the wind and all that stuff was good for creativity, and it did work. That's what I would come here to do is be creative. So it's a good thing for me.
For Byron and Terry, what have you noticed about your creativity out there? Do you feel inspired? Do you feel driven with it? Or you're like, you know what, I just want to lay by the pool?
No, you know what? I feel like, especially since I have this theater, I've had more opportunities here than I would have had in LA, because you're a bigger fish in a smaller pond, and yet the pond is right next to LA. So you can still do everything you want to do, and then when you need to go to LA, you go to LA. So I've been very busy, very writing and acting like crazy. So I don't think it hurts it at all. I think it helps it.
Well, when I looked at the website for the Bent Theater Company, I was like, wow, this is ambitious. Like, you guys are doing big plays, like The Inheritance is coming up. Like, wow, you're like swinging for the fences. How has it been going?
Well, we just had our first birthday, and like a week ago. And in 1 year, which we opened our first play, a play that I wrote, with $4.95 in the bank. And
I love stories about how much money people have in the bank. So whenever I look in my account and it doesn't feel good, I'm like, someday this will be a great story. I need to remember the exact sense. Yeah.
Literally, and we didn't have a mailing list. We didn't, we were brand new. We didn't, we'd never run a theater before. But we knew how to make good plays. And so it just, people came, and it's been crazy. So we've done 6 plays in 1 year. I had to be in 5 of them. The only one I didn't do was the lesbian play. And I'm like, don't anybody get sick or die because I can't do the lesbian play. But
I'm sure you could.
Sure you could.
I did. I played Mary Todd Lincoln with 3 hours notice. I just want you to know.
Wow. That might be the title of this podcast.
And Abraham Lincoln said the same thing.
Yes, he did. That's what the play was about. Maybe he didn't. Also, every one of our plays was nominated for either Best Drama or Best Comedy for Desert Theater League Awards out here and Broadway World Awards. It's been a crazy ride, and I'm just so excited that now we're getting our footing and we can really take off.
What are the audiences like?
Oh man, like I'm talking to other theater people, and they're asking us, what are we doing to get an audience? And I'm like, I don't know. We're just doing our plays, and people are coming, and they've been so kind. They're giving us donations. There's word of mouth. I don't know what we're doing right, but somehow it's working. So,
I love that. Byron, as a novelist, which is your main thing now, although you do acting and playwriting and stuff, How is your creative life? How does it work in Palm Springs? Do you do a lot of it by the pool is my question.
I do work outside. I mean, the pool is nearby, so that counts. But I find the blue skies and the palm trees and the nice weather really do energize me. I wrote my first book, A Star is Born, which was about my time with Carrie Fisher. I wrote that in LA, and I think that the LA vibe helped with that creative energy. But I love like self-help people and that kind of crazy stuff. And this one lady that I like talks about this thing called war with reality. And she says, if you're sick in a hospital bed, what's the best way to help your body heal? Is it to kind of relax into the healing or to be tense and at war with illness? And I think it's the same with creativity. Out here, I find myself not at war with creating. I feel this sense of like, you can relax a little. And I think it helps. I think it helps to have all the good energy out here.
I love it. Jack, back to you for 1 second. Has anything surprised you since you've been there?
Well, how many things were wrong with this house that we didn't know about?
Isn't that the way it goes?
It's a huge surprise literally every day.
Yeah. Well, I got to be your first house guest, and I loved it. So right. I call it the hacienda. That's the way it feels to me. So we are going to play a few rounds of You Don't Know My Life using questions inspired by Palm Springs, which is one of my favorite places. I put it on my dream board every year, even though I kind of, I've done it, but I want to do it again. You don't know. So how this game works is a question is going to be posed to all of us. We're going to submit answers on our phone, then present the answers, and then take turns guessing who said what. And the winner is the one that gets the most guesses right. Here is the first question. What's something you experienced or witnessed where you thought, only in Palm Springs? You don't know my life. Okay, the answers are all in. Now we're going to present the answers and then take turns guessing who said what. The question is, what's something you witnessed or experienced where you thought, only in Palm Springs? First answer. I saw Barry Manilow at a cheap Mexican restaurant and called him Rod Stewart. Yes. Okay, so you guys are all clever and creative people. That box underneath, we call that the hashtag, and that's where we as a group come up with a cute little headline to label the answer. So it could be like, no Fanilow. It could be Barry versus Rod. Barry the Hatchet. I mean, that's cute.
That's really cute.
We're going to do Barry the Hatchet. It's dumb, but we're doing it. All right, here's the next answer. Seeing a pass-around party bottom singing and dancing to tradition in the Fiddler on the Roof contingent of the Palm Springs Gay Pride Parade. Okay, what's our hashtag?
Bottom on the roof.
Bottom on the roof.
Bottom on the roof.
There you go.
Okay, here's our next answer for Only in Palm Springs. While out shopping, I wore a Glenn Hansen caricature T-shirt of Betty Davis as Margot Channing, and at least a dozen people knew who she was, in all caps, and actually comment on it. I have the hashtag for this.
Okay.
Shirt happens. Right? It's not super Betty Davis, but it's shirty. Anyway, I'm going
Very
with it.
nice.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
nice.
you. I like it. Okay, next up. Trying to get to the party table full of food when it's blocked by an octogenarian orgy. Okay, what's our hashtag?
Don't recommend the dip.
Don't recommend the dip. Okay.
There you go.
And finally, my first clothing optional resort, I remember there was an older guy laying on the couch in the lobby fiddling with his junk, and he struck me as one of those sitcom characters that have no lines but are in every episode.
Hashtag Jack's career.
Jack's career. All right. We've got it. All right. We've got our 5 answers. We've got our 5 hashtags. And now the guessing is going to start. And how the guessing works is, Byron, you're going to go first. You're going to pick any hashtag, and then you're going to say who you think it is. So you might say, I think shirt happens is Jack, or I think don't try the dip is Terry. Any hashtag other than your own. And before that person answers, I will explain what happens next. So Byron, pick any of these hashtags.
I'm going to say bottom on the roof is Jack.
Okay, so Jack. If that is you, you say yes, and Byron gets a point. But if that's not you, you have to say the name of the game, You Don't Know My Life, with as much sass as you may be feeling. So Jack, are you bottom on the roof?
You don't know my life.
He did a voice. So that's the end of Byron's turn. Right.
It's a very good guess because I did tour with Topol for 2 years as Model the Tailor. So it's a very, very good guess.
So you were picking up on something in the Fiddler canon there. All right, so that's the end of Byron's turn. It goes to Terry. Terry, pick any of these hashtags and who you think it is.
I'm going to go with shirt happens.
Yep.
And I'm going to say that's Craig.
Craig, are you Shirt Happens?
You don't know my life.
Wow, okay, these are tougher than they seemed. All right, Jack, it is your guess.
I'm gonna guess that Jack's career is Craig.
Craig, are you Jack's career?
You don't know my life.
Oh, wow, all right.
Hey.
It is my guess.
I don't know it either. It's okay.
I think Barry the Hatchet is Terry.
You don't know my life.
Wow, all right. These are hard. Okay,
Oh.
Craig, your guess.
I'm going to say Jack's career is Jack.
Jack's career is Jack. Is that you?
You don't know my life.
Wow, all right. I think Shirt Happens is Jack, the Betty Davis shirt. Is that you?
Yes.
Well done. All right.
Really?
So when something's guessed correctly, you will notice that the square turns a darker shade of gray and Jack's name fades in the board. That's how you can tell who's still in the mix. And we also like to learn a little more about it. So you've got your shirt of Betty Davis and like just people commenting everywhere?
Yeah, I'm wearing the Glenn Hansen, Betty Davis, Margot Channing shirt, and like at Trader Joe's, at Bevmo, somebody goes, "Oh my God, I love Betty Davis! Oh, that was my favorite movie." And I wore that shirt in LA all the time, and no one knew who the fuck that was. They just had no idea. It's kind of sad because I didn't go to the premiere of All About Eve. You know, it was 10 years before I was born.
Right.
But I knew what it was.
Right.
Out here, they know what it is. I love it.
That's good.
I love it.
I like it. All right. So that was my turn. It's going to go to Craig next. And it goes to Byron. Your guess.
Jack's career is Craig.
Craig, are you Jack's career?
You don't know my life.
People are obsessed with the junk fiddling guy in the resort. All right. Terry.
That guy was me,
Okay.
but that's not.
you were the guy on the couch?
Yeah. That's not. It's not like this.
All right,
Okay,
Terry.
I'm going to say Jack's career is Dennis.
Terry, you know my life. That is me.
Oh,
Yes, it was. I don't remember what year it was. It was a while back, and it was my first one of those kind of sexy resorts. And there was just a guy on the couch who was just there the whole time we were there, just kind of absently fiddling with himself. I don't think semi at best. And he just struck me as like if you had said to the guest, oh, there's a guy there, and he's like, oh, that's just Ed. Pay him no, never mind. Like it just felt like somebody in Petticoat Junction that didn't have any lines, but we're always there.
It was a fiddler on the couch.
It was a fiddler on the couch. But there's a guy. Oh, that's just Hank. Just no, he means well. Like he's that guy, and he's just there all the time fiddling. Fiddler on the.
I don't know.
Fiddler on the couch, and it's my guess. Who's gonna be? Don't try the dip. Okay, I think Byron is the Barry Manilow thing. Are you Barry the Hatchet, Byron?
You know my life.
Oh my gosh! What happened? What? How? What?
I was a little impaired, and we were at El Mirasol, and I spotted him behind me, and I turned to the group I was with, and I was like, "Oh my God, Rod Stewart is behind us!" And everyone looks, and it's our boy Barry Manilow.
So Barry didn't hear you call him Rod Stewart.
No, my God, can you imagine?
I mean, you would have had to leave town.
Yeah, and I do respect and like Barry Manilow. In fact, we just went to like his Christmas concert out here. It was so fun and lovely. But man, I switched up my icons. Damn.
Jack, we're gonna let you guess if you're paying attention.
Yeah, I'm guessing bottom on the roof then is Craig.
Craig, are you bottom of the roof?
Yes, you know my life.
Okay, so break it down. Where are we? Set the scene.
It's the last gay pride parade. First time I went to the one in Palm Springs.
Right.
I actually filmed this. I put this on my Facebook, so you could have cheated and looked, but
yeah.
No, there was like at the parade there was a whole contingent of people doing like I thought a high school production of Fiddler on the Roof, but it was actually like a professional production. And I saw this guy that I hooked up with, who was this crazy party bottom, who was like one of like the sons, like not model, but like one, like tradition.
Yeah.
Like probably tweaking and dancing down Pump Canyon.
Right. Just hours before, know where he could have been. Right.
Exactly. So that was very surreal and very like only in Palm Springs.
Yeah, very only in Palm Springs. But you know what? We all contain multitudes. All right, Terry, no one gets a point for guessing yours, but tell us about the octogenarian orgy.
Well, I went to this party that a friend took me to, and a pool party, and I was starving. And I was shocked at how many naked old people there were. I mean, like I was by far like 20 years the youngest person there, and then that makes you nervous. It's like because now everybody wants to see you take your clothes off and get in the pool. But I'm like, I want the food, but I thought if I just go in the pool first, the orgy will die down because they're old. But it just grew, and so I finally I had to kind of wrap up really well to protect myself and get over there and have the food that was covered, because it was hardcore sex happening right there.
Here's the thing, though. A lot of times gay guys, when they're feeling sexy, don't like the food. And I remember once going to one of my very few circuit parties. It was the zoo party in San Diego, where it was at the San Diego Zoo. I went with a friend of mine that was kind of into it. And you got a meal ticket as part of the admission. So we go in and people start dancing, and I was like, okay, when are we going to use those meal tickets? No one wanted to go get a fucking burger with me. Nobody. And I'm like hungry. They're dancing and tweaking and whatever. And I'm like, so I go get my zoo party meal ticket, just my little basket of fries and hamburger by myself. All right. So that's how the game works. We're going to get that other question in here. Here is the next question. You're writing an article entitled A Magical Night in Palm Springs, or A Magical Day in Palm Springs. What happens in the story? You don't know my life. Jack, what's your favorite thing about your house? What's your favorite feature? Like, oh, I love sitting right here.
Oh, that's exactly it. Every toilet has a bidet.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Fancy.
I've never used a bidet.
What?
I haven't.
Oh,
I've never
God.
had the opportunity. Jack, can
They're
I?
life-changing.
Really? Do you have one at your house?
I do. Yeah, I bought one for $35. It's so easy to get one and put it on your toilet seat.
Yeah, they're very easy, not expensive. Yeah.
I'll be right over, Terry.
Yeah.
So
I have people have used mine, and I want one, and I've installed them in other people's houses because it's like everybody wants
God.
you're the bidet whisperer. We might be keeping this part in. It's good stuff.
I may have a new magical day.
We may have to change the whole magical day. All right. All of the answers are in. Here is the question again. You're writing an article called My Magical Night in Palm Springs, or Day. What happens in it? Here are the 5 answers. I met one of my best friends at Toucans after a film festival screening. I feel like there's something destined about our friendship. Wow, that's sweet. No dicks or butts or tainted dip. How about Toucan Sam?
Fruit Loops? Oh.
Fruit Loops. I like Fruit Loops.
yeah.
Meeting Carol Channing, sharing an elevator with a cranky Kay Ballard, and getting drunk with Dawn Wells.
No, that is gay.
Divas a poppin'?
Divas a poppin'.
Diva Palooza?
We're going to do Diva Palooza. Next up. I had at least a dozen errands to run from Palm Springs to Desert Hot Springs, and at each one I was able to park 30 feet from the door. Is it Doris Day parking?
Doris Day, yes.
Oh, yes. Fabulous.
Side note, I have a friend that's convinced that they coined that phrase, Doris Day parking, that they were the first person to utter it or think of it, and it bothers them when anyone else uses it. Okay, next
You're
up.
friends with Tony Randall?
Who's in the elevator?
Yeah, he was waiting for the elevator. Okay, next up. Starts with coffee at Coffee with a K, and then drinks and sing-along at Quads, and ends partying with grand zaddies in jockstraps with walkers and diabetes monitors at Barracks. Wow, they've painted a picture. This is like one of those New York Times, like Palm Springs in 20 hours.
Tourist trap?
Tourist trap. How about tourist trapping? Next up. Got in drag to go to an event only to realize it was all children.
Yeah. Grooming.
How about good grooming? All right. These are good. All right. We skipped some people last time. I think we skipped Terry because he was one of the final 2. So Terry, you get to guess first this time. Pick any of these hashtags and who you think it is.
I'm going to go with Fruit Loops for Craig.
Craig, are you Fruit Loops? The Toucans meeting.
You don't know my life, Terry.
Oh, it is not. All right. And it goes to my friend Jack.
I'm going to say Fruit Loops is Dennis.
You are correct. Fruit Loops is indeed me, the Toucans. So I went to the Palm Springs Short Film Festival with a short film that I made called Rub Down. It was like this cute little comedy about a massage secret shopper at a massage parlor. And there was a Q&A, and at the Q&A, this guy asked a question, and I could tell he was from somewhere else. And it turns out he's a Jordanian filmmaker named Zaid. And he was just sort of talking about what it means to see gay stories, because where he comes from, it is just not... It was kind of blowing his mind. The whole affair was blowing his mind. And so afterwards, there was an after party at Toucans, and I ended up talking to him, and he's really cute. I had a huge crush, being honest. But we ended up becoming really, really good friends. And we're from totally, he's from Jordan, and he's lived here. Now he's back in Dubai working, but he's just one of my favorite people. And I feel like this real connection with him, and it all happened because of this film festival and Toucans. And I have a picture of us the night we met, and I see him every time he comes to town. We have these deep, meaningful conversations, and he's so talented. And I remember he lived in LA, and we went to Outfest, and it was a screening of the Vito Russo documentary that Jeffrey Schwartz made, who's another friend of mine. And Zaid was so fired up about activism, because in the Middle East, they're way behind where we are in terms of stuff. And he's really started to do things over there, and I could just see him sort of lighting up. And I don't know, he's one of my favorite people, and it's somebody that you normally wouldn't meet in your day-to-day life. And it all happened at Toucans. So there it is. So, Jack, you got that right. It is my guess. Oh, wait, I forgot to give you your point for that. I'm going back.
Ooh, there's points. I didn't know there was points.
Yeah, there are total points.
What's
okay.
the prize?
The prize is you get to edit this podcast. so I don't. So I don't. Okay, it is my guess. Doris Day Parking. I'm going to say that's Jack Kenny.
Look at you knowing my life.
It is you. Right on. So it was just a day of that.
We all come from LA,
right?
Where everything like that is a fucking nightmare. And you come out here, and it's like, wait a minute, I'm going to my doctor's office, which I just have to park like half an hour walk away from.
Yeah.
Or pay $25 to park in the building. And that's a space by the door?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, it's magical. That's magic to me.
So let's go to Craig for the next guess.
I'm going to guess that Meet Carol Diva Palooza is Terry.
Terry, Diva Palooza. Is that you?
You know my life.
It is you. See, that we're doing much better on this question. So what was the occasion where you met all of these celebrities?
It was at the McCallum, and I was with Dawn. I was a friend of mine, Dawn Wells, and so I got to meet Carol Chan because of Dawn, and then we all went in this elevator, and Kay Ballard was just like screaming the whole ride, "There's too many people in the elevator! There's too many people in the elevator!" So I'm like, okay, don't get near Kay Ballard. And then went out for drinks, and Dawn and I just stayed out all night and got drunk and flirted with waiters, which was pretty nice.
I didn't remember this until just now, but you guys worked together on a really fun project. I remember now because I remember watching it.
Yeah, we did a few, and I thought of her because yesterday was the anniversary of her death. We lost her to COVID 3 years ago yesterday, so I was thinking about her.
It was COVID.
Yeah, but yeah, I got to do 3 things with her. So I got to go to Gilligan's Island. I wrote a spoof that we did a couple of episodes of called "She's Still in That Freaking Island," and she's kind of a cranky Marianne, and I wash ashore as a gay guy who fell off of a wedding boat. And then I tell her that it's actually a peninsula and she's a nature preserve, and that everybody else just walked off what she thought was a forbidden island. And she's cranky, and now we're after the millionaire suitcase full of cash before we leave. So that's what we're looking for.
How fun. Is that available to watch anywhere?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Yay.
Still on that freaking island.
Still on that freaking island is the project. I got to host the Desert Dancing with the Stars one year, and she was one of the judges, and she was delightful.
She was so lovely.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for your loss. I remember when I heard that, and I was like, oh, so sad. All right, okay. Terry, your guess.
I think we're going to go with tourist trapping with Craig.
Craig, are you tourist trapping?
You don't know my life.
Oh, all right. All right, Jack Kenny.
I got to assume that good grooming is Craig.
Craig, are you good grooming?
Yes, I am.
So you got in drag to go to an event and it was children? What is the story?
I tap danced in the Christmas parade.
Yes.
And I was it was all women in my class. So, and a couple of guys, but I went in drag. I wore the dress that all the other women were wearing. And I got it. One of them gave me a wig, and I went to the Christmas parade. And I was like, "This is Palm Springs. I went to the Gay Pride parade. It's going to be super gay." Well, there are a lot of straight people in Palm Springs, and they were all there that night. There was not one person in drag besides me in the entire Christmas parade. And as I walked in, I heard kids squealing. Like, it was all children. Like, "That's a man. That's a man." And I was like, "No one's seen." They're like, "No one's seen." They have never seen a guy in a dress. They're like 5 years old. And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm imprinting on people right now." Like, why do it was all children, like all children. And there's a point in the parade when we have to turn and face the crowd where we do this whole thing, welcome with our arms. And I was like, all children, like, hi. The little baby started crying. I waved at it. It was very, yeah, it was very intense.
So you're the reason they think it's us.
Yes. But then I had this responsibility. I've got to look, I'm fun. I'm gay and I'm having fun. I'm fun. So extra sort of pizzazz in my performance that night to try and interact with them.
I don't want you to be gay. I don't want you to be gay unless you want to be gay, and that's later in life. And let's not talk about that now because you're 5.
But Craig, this feels like a scene. It feels like a scene in a movie that you would write, where somebody goes in with one intention and it just becomes like this other thing, and this panic of like, oh my God, I'm everything that I don't want to be right now. So Byron Lane, talk to me about your tourist trapping day. It feels like a perfect day.
Let me tell you something. This is sort of my how to do Palm Springs right. So Coffee with a K, best coffee shop. If you haven't been to drinks and sing along at Quads, it's an event. They play all these old videos, old performances from award shows, and occasionally they pass out props and everyone gets involved. It's just such a good time. And then, how can a visit to Palm Springs be complete without going to the Barracks, where it's kind of the leather daddy bar of Palm Springs, and it's filled with diverse crowd, including granddaddies, grandzaddies. I've seen guys in jock straps with canes and walkers and their diabetes monitors, just living the life. And let me tell you, we should all be so lucky. I love it.
I agree with that. I was once in Palm Springs having lunch with a friend that I'm no longer friends with, actually, his choice. And there was some older guy in like an International Male Step-Ins kind of outfit. And my friend said, ugh, I hope I'm never that guy. And I said, I hope I am. He's like living the dream. What are the other options? Like, look at he's expressing himself. Like, I say, thank you. I'm on your page. Live your life. There's no such thing as like, oh, she needs to put it away. Fuck you. It's my life.
I'm already on Amazon looking for a leather catheter bag.
That's so good. See, that's what's great about this game. You can also shop while you're doing it.
They're cheaper on eBay.
You guys are so funny. I love hanging out with all of you. It's really fun. We're going to do one more question. And this one's kind of, because this is the first episode of the year, this isn't really to do with Palm Springs, but it might. The question is simple. New Year's story, go. It could be New Year's Eve. It could be New Year's Day. Anything related to New Year's. You don't know my life. All right, all of the answers are in. The question again, New Year's story, go. Here are the answers. My boyfriend telling me at a party at the stroke of midnight that he doesn't love me anymore. Ooh. Wow. The first thing I thought of was this, Last Dance.
Bad Cinderella?
Bad Cinderella. Say thank you. Oh, that's a solid. You guys, your hashtag game is on point. I host this game a lot for companies, and they're like accountants. And let's just say their hashtag game is not nearly where yours is. Next up, impromptu New Year's Eve party last year ended with everyone skinny dipping at midnight.
Oh, ball dropping.
Ball dropping. Thank you.
God, brilliant.
Jack, will you come on all my virtual games and just do the hashtags? You could just be in a little screen on the corner. All right, next up.
Like for the deaf.
Yeah, you're and just here for the hashtags. Okay, we don't pay him, but if you want to tip him, you can, like a go-go boy of hashtaggery,
or an old man on a couch.
Yes. Next up, a fiddler on the couch. All right, next up, a cold beach in Italy with strangers and sparklers, feeling kind of blue, then getting a flirty pick-me-up. How about sparkly night? Next up. New Year's Eve in Times Square before all the security. As midnight approached, it got so crushed with people, I couldn't breathe, so my boyfriend let me sit on his shoulders.
Love lifts me up.
Love lifts me up. Thank you.
Aww.
Visiting grandparents who went to bed at 7 p.m. and desperate to stay up till midnight and party, I ended up singing to a herd of cows. No,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year?
Happy New Year. There you
Happy
go.
New Year. You guys, this is fun. Let's just do hashtags for the rest of the night. I think Jack finished the last round out. Craig, we're going to let you start this one. Craig, pick any hashtag and who you think it is.
I'm going to say ball dropping is Dennis.
You don't know my life.
Damn.
I started that not being sassy, and then I remembered that I needed to be sassy, so I got sassy midway through, and it was lame.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Got it online.
It
half-assed.
was very layered.
Thank you. All right, Terry Ray, your guess.
I'm gonna say Bad Cinderella.
Mm-hmm.
It's Craig.
Craig, are you Bad Cinderella?
Yes.
Oh, shit, a brick.
Yeah.
Boy, that's the one you didn't want to win.
Yeah,
And
that's the one.
and it was the New Year's after 9/11 in New York City.
Oh.
Just to make it even more.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
At the stroke of midnight.
Yeah. As everyone's like, Happy New Year. He's like, I don't love you. I'm in love with he was in love with his AA sponsor. He told me that night. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, he moved to Massachusetts.
And so what happens after that? Do you just go home?
I was literally, when he told me, I was literally, it was the longest I've ever just sat there and not said anything. I had no idea what to say. I completely shut down. I had no response. I sat there for like a long time until I was like, what? So yeah, that was like a while ago though.
Wow.
Maybe he thought it was better to tell you at an up time rather than to tell you at a down time.
You want to ruin
You
your
guys-
year to get
Now that I think about it, it was very considerate that you did that at that
You
moment.
guys remember McGann Robinson?
No.
She was Charles Bush's leading lady for years.
Oh.
She died of AIDS a long time ago, but her boyfriend broke up with her at her father's funeral.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
Could be worse.
yeah.
Thanks for that perspective shift.
Yeah. All right. I think Byron Lane is ball dropping, skinny dipping.
You know my life.
It is you.
You know my life.
I love this. Okay, this is recent. What happened?
It was last year. We just had so many friends in town, and we had not had any parties here at our place. And finally, we're like, you know what? There's no way we're going to be able to go all over, see all these people. Just invite as many as can come over to come over. And they did. And at midnight, we all jumped in the pool, and it was magical and lovely and
Cold.
and cold. We heated the pool, so it was all right.
It was all right. Did the fiddler from the couch show up?
Oh yeah, he was here. Yeah, he comes over all the time now.
He's there
It
now.
doesn't have to be a holiday.
He doesn't have lines though. We're still just paying him like an extra. All right, that was my guess. So let's go to Craig for the next guess. There's 3 left.
Okay, I'm going to say Happy New Year is Terry.
Terry, are you Happy New Year?
You know my life.
Well done. So you sang to the cows.
You know what? I always went home to Ohio and Kentucky for the holidays, and I was always stuck there for New Year's Eve. And it was like everybody would go to bed, and I was at my grandparents in Kentucky, and I thought I can't have another just stay in the house watching Dick Clark. So I went out to the cows and I sang to them, and they liked it until I sang. I want you all to know this: cows hate the song when the Red Robin goes bob bob bobbing along. They just all turned away and left. And I sang it with the same energy as the other songs, but that one they don't like.
Maybe because it has another animal. Maybe they're jealous of the animal attention, the robin.
It was over. Yeah.
All right, that was Craig's guess. Let's go to Byron for this. There's 2 left.
Sparkly night is Dennis.
You know my life. I was visiting my friend Christian in Rome. He was a journalist that I met on a press trip, and we became friends. And he invited me to go to this beach party on the coast of Italy. But it's very cold, right? And I didn't know anyone really except for him. And there were other people there, his friends, and I can't even remember his friend's name, but he was kind of handsome and he had a boyfriend. And what I do remember is that everyone there had like 3 cell phones. They had multiple cell phones. I'm not sure why. I think they needed to for the system.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the party, everyone just put all their cell phones in this bowl, and there were like 20 cell phones for 6 people. Like it was the weirdest thing. It was like almost like they were poker chips. And then we all walked down to the beach, and I was feeling not great about myself at the time. I remember not feeling cute, or like I was lonely in terms of romance and things like that. And but it was unique to be there with the sparklers on the beach and the champagne, and here I was in Italy, and isn't this unique? And we were walking back up to the little house, and the guy whose house it was that had the boyfriend kind of started flirting with me, like in a kind of confessional. I just wanted to tell you that I think and I was like, I couldn't do anything about it, but I was like, oh, I need it. I was like when you need to feel like a little bit of that moment, and it was the guy that was the guy, and he was kind of fun and drunk and taken, and nothing could happen. But it was like I remember feeling like Oh, thank you. I needed that. And Italy. So there you go. And Jack Kenny, you got up on somebody's shoulders at New Year's Eve?
I'm kind of surprised nobody guessed this because I'm the only one old enough to have been in Times Square before the security measures.
Oh,
I think.
It sounds scary.
It actually kind of was right up for the last 5 minutes because we'd gone to Times Square. I think it was like 87 or 88. We'd gone to Times Square because we wanted to experience it, and it was fine. The closest we could get was like 47th Street at that time. We got there we didn't get there till like 10:30, and then it was all fine until about 5 minutes to 12, and then the crush of people got so intense, pressing against us, and I'm 5'6", so I was it felt really scary, and so Michael, who is 6'4", said, "Get on my shoulders." And so he crouched down, I got on his shoulders and sat up, and I could see the whole thing. I could see all of Times Square from his shoulders. It was so great and so exciting. It was just, it was really sweet and fun.
Wow. Well, this is our new year, and do you guys want to hear my motto for the new year, 2024? You can take it if you want. This is it. It's very simple. Do shit. Thank you. That's my motto. Just do shit. Whether it's creative or I feel like I want to go to that museum. Do it. Just do
Jesus
shit.
Christ. I thought you were saying douche it like DOUCHE.
I want to get a bidet. We've established that I need to explore that part of life. So
very layered, also very layered. Very layered.
Thank you, Craig. All right. We're going to find out who won our crazy game. So keep your eye on the player board. We're going to reveal the scores in 3, 2, 1, boom. 2, 2, 2. I won with 4. I don't like to win normally, but I guess I did. But Jack, you're a solid 3, and Craig and Terry and Byron all had 2. So a respectable showing by all of us. Thank you guys so much for doing this. I feel like I got to hang out with some of my favorite people, talk about one of my favorite places. Okay, so before I let you guys go, I want to find out if there's anything you want to promote. I definitely want to promote the fact that the Mismatch game is coming back to Oscars Palm Springs on Tuesday, January 16th. And we're going to be doing our show perhaps on the patio. We did it once before, and it went great. Let me see who we've got. We've got Nadia Ginsburg as Cher. We've got Jackie Beat as B. Arthur. We've got Patrick Bristow, who lives in the desert, as Nancy Culp. We've got Mark Samuel as Morgan Freeman. Danny Casillas as Reba Arriba. And who am I forgetting? Oh, Tom Lank. And you never know who Tom Lake's going to play. Last time, I think he did Zooey Deschanel. He did Heidi recently, Heidi Klum.
Love his Zoe. His Zoe is genius.
Yeah, it's amazing. And Byron, you work very closely with Mr. Tom Lank. So
yeah, he does Tilda at the show too, your show, and it's great. I was at the last one. It is so fun. It's a cool venue out there.
Yeah, so we're doing that. Terry, what's coming up at the Bent Theater?
Next up for us is a play by Paul Rudnick called The New Century, which is really fun. I play the gayest man in the universe who got thrown out of New York City for being too gay. And so I, as revenge, started my own cable access show in Palm Beach.
Nice. I like it. And Byron, you've got Big Gay Wedding was a big deal this past year. Are you working on your new novel? What's going on?
I'm writing pitches for a new novel and excited about what might come of it. And meantime, Big Gay Wedding is in bookstores right now. You can get a copy. And A Star Is Born, my first book, which was based on my time with Carrie Fisher, is also in bookstores. So if you order from the best bookstore in Palm Springs, all of theirs are signed, if that's of interest to anybody.
I love it. Is that like your hometown bookstore vibe? Do you go in there like you own the place?
I march in there, proud as a peacock. They're so great. And I love the name, the best bookstore in Palm Springs. It doesn't get any better than that. It's a really cool spot.
Well, I am listening to the audio now of Big Gay Wedding, and Noah Galvin does a great job.
He's so great. So great. He also narrated the first book, and when this one came out, I was like, guys, can we get him again? He's just really just charming and brilliant, and he's able to capture all those accents because it's about a small town mom whose gay son wants to come have his wedding on the family farm, and she's resisting, and so he's able to do these Southern accents, and he just really nailed it.
Yeah, I'm not super far in, but I'm really enjoying it. And your husband writes books as well, so I'm always curious. Do you guys work in different parts of the house?
Oh yeah. I don't want to hear him
Yeah.
chewing or breathing or typing, and I'm sure it's the same with me too. So he's on one side and I'm on the other, and then we meet for lunch and how's it going? How's it going? That kind of thing.
I love that. I love it. And
And Dennis, I'm doing things too.
I know you're
Even
doing
though
things.
I've
I was
just
like,
moved here.
when are you going to
Having this-
string up your contractors? And when is
I'm
the
gonna have
public
this-
flogging?
I'm having the dryer vents vacuumed out next week.
Excellent. Can we get tickets? Is it an Eventbrite thing, or can you just show up?
Well, I'm having it done by several young boys in the nude, so I think it'll raise some money.
I love it.
I want to come to the dryer vent cleaning thing though. Really?
Okay, I'll tell you. Yeah, it's fun because they start on the roof, so you get a nice that up view is kind of exciting.
Yeah. Okay, that's a different angle. Yeah.
All right. Good. You guys, we did this thing. I will let you know when it goes up, and we're going to hopefully maybe see you all out there when I come out for the mismatch game. We'll figure something out. All right.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you for doing this on New
guys.
Year's. Happy New Year.
Guys,
Happy New
Happy
Year,
New
guys.
Year.
Thanks again to Byron Lane, Terry Ray, Jack Kenny, and Craig Chester. Can't wait to see those guys when I come to Palm Springs for the mismatch game on Tuesday, January 16th at Oscars Palm Springs. If you're in the desert, come on out to the show, and you can learn about that at OscarsPalmSprings.com. All right, so this happened. I'm going to share a little story about something that happened just this morning. So my Wi-Fi has been out for a few days. I was trying to upgrade it, and they weren't able to fix it, and blah, blah, blah. So it's being fixed in a couple days. It's a holiday weekend, so I'm screwed. So my friends Doug and John are letting me record this at their house, which is very nice of them. I really appreciate it. And I thought I would bring over some bagels from Hank's Bagels as a little thank you for letting me crash in their place and do this podcast. So they turned me on to Hank's after all, and it's really good. And so we got my favorite kind. They are rosemary sea salt, and the gal that rang them up, I recognized her from T-Pop, which was my other favorite place in North Hollywood, which is sadly no longer there. I talked about it at length. So anyway, I was like, I recognize you from T-Pop, and she's like, yep, that's me, and hi, and how are you? And I asked her name, and she said her name was Kira, and I said, oh, like from Xanadu, and she goes, yeah, I was named after that. I was like, oh, your mother named you after Kira in Xanadu? That's amazing. And I was like, you must love the movie. And she goes, I've never seen it. And I was like, record scratch. Like, it was just like a break in the space-time continuum. And I was like, you don't understand. For gays of a certain age, that is like our Bible. So long story short, I got her Instagram and info. And the next time there's a screening of Xanadu anywhere, I am going to reach out to Kira and say, come with us, my child, and see what your birthright is. I feel it's almost like the Lion King, like holding up Kira in her roller skates. And so there's that, although she spells it different, interestingly. So I will keep you posted if there is a Xanadu screening. I don't feel like a home video night is the way to go with this. So hopefully it will pop up at one of the local revival houses, and I'll be able to welcome Kira into her birthright at some point. I will definitely keep you posted on that. All right, that's enough for this week. Thank you so much for listening. A big shout out to Oscar Rosario for mixing the episodes. My theme music is by Mark Daniels for Placement Music. We'll catch you next time on Dennis Anyone. Bye!